Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, your time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no fight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder.
Well, good evening. We're a little early. Yes, but we're a day late.
And a little late.
And a little late. We had guests over for Friday, so
Yeah.
we moved it to Saturday, and then it's like, well, we can just go early on Saturday. So, Hi guys, how are you? Of course, I'm Aeson Knight. With me, of course, is the techie of the techiest, Techie Joe. We have some hot topics, interesting stories, and hopefully some bullshit to stir.
So, yeah, normally we're on Fridays, so if this is your first time, hello and welcome. You can join us on Friday nights, or you can catch us on replay. Just make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We love that.
Yes. All right, so it's been a busy week and a lot of weirdness going on this week.
Yeah, you've lined up some articles here.
I have lined up some interesting stuff. But, things are developing, so, I always make my last pass at the beginning of the show. But anyhow, why don't we just go on and talk about the one that I asked the baristas if they wanted to hear about, the Alex Jones case.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, let's start there. Let's start there. Oh, so, yeah, poor Alex Jones, which no one feels sympathy for. No. Because, he apparently didn't believe Sandy Hook was a real event, at least not on air, at least not in front of, millions of people watching. Mm-hmm. And so after peddling lies and making a ton of money off of it, he's at trial for basically doing just that, for, what is it, defamation of character?
Well, it is defamation of a character. They're literally, Alex Jones sat there and said that their dead children were fake. That Sandy Hook was a deep state situation, which resulted in people being harassed, death threats, homes destroyed, marriages destroyed. And he's made millions off of this.
Oh yeah. Well, and created pretty much a cult following based on this and similar things. Mm-hmm. Effectively, the big thing to know about Alex Jones, and even he himself has said in other situations, is effectively he is a shock jock. He is an entertainment personality. He is not a news reporter. He, says shit for ratings.
Right.
That's it. That's all he does. That's what he's effectively said.
Right.
That's his defense.
Right.
Is that you should not believe him.
But he's a news reporter at InfoWars, which is listed with the FCC as a news organization.
Yeah, this is the problem we're running into, are news organizations and people who are listed as reporters trying to claim that, no, we're closer to Saturday Night Live, Dan Aykroyd, and, why can't I remember her name right now? Way back when. Oh, damn it. Third rock star, blonde, amazing. Oh, come on. Brenda, help me out. Hi, Brenda. Hey, Dottie. Anywho, So that basically what he's doing is, entertainment.
Right.
That's it. That's what he does. That's
Right.
all we're supposed to take from what he says. You're not supposed to base your opinions on what he says. You really should not believe him.
Mhm.
That effectively every time he goes to air, it is H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds.
Right.
And it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Right. And then he tried to say that he had stopped doing this line, and apologized and blah, blah, blah. His lawyers apparently do not like him.
Yeah. They fucked up. That's the long and short of it.
Right.
But yeah. They inadvertently handed over the entire unredacted, unprivileged, complete and total files of his phone.
Yes. Including every text message that was sent, every information that was sent, everything. And then
Jane Curtin. That's who I was trying to think of. Jane Curtin.
And then didn't crowd claim privilege on it.
No.
For 10 business days, they had the ability to look at him and go, sorry, we shouldn't have handed that to you. Hand it back to us. Thank you. Have a good day. Didn't do it.
Didn't do it. So, yeah, prosecution got handed a very huge windfall in terms of that.
Well, it's even dirtier.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's the even dirtier part of it. So prosecution got windfalls of it. And, we're all watching, and I'm sure everyone has seen the video of prosecution having their Perry Mason moment of, do you know that I know that you have lied to me? I know you've lied to the court. You've denied this. You've denied that. And we have record now of you doing it.
AKA, bitch, I got the receipts.
Okay. But apparently this is such an interesting trial that busy senators in the House, busy Congress people in the House have time to watch this trial.
Oh, fun.
So on Friday, I caught the live stream from Court TV. Thank you. We will not be playing your stream, unfortunately, because you claim copyright over shit too much. But I'll tell you what I saw. So quickly, the lawyer, once they got off the stand, quickly filed an emergency motion to declare a mistrial. This is the 6th time they've done this. Every time they fuck up, they want to declare a mistrial. Please, Your Honor, let us do this again. I fucked up so royally, I can't even run this on fucking autopilot.
Basically, is the claim that they're making. And I'm starting to wonder, and I would think the judge would be wondering, though maybe I'm putting words in their mouth. Are you doing this shit intentionally now?
Yes.
Literally, are you doing it intentionally to try to get a mistrial at this point and a claim of an incompetent defense? Well, your lawyer is literally incompetent.
Right. Well, this is a civil pursuit, so they can't get that. However, the plaintiff's the prosecution, the plaintiff, the judge wanted to know who he was giving copies of the information to. And, his first thing is the live stream on? Because there are certain people that want to make sure that this is on because they're watching this. Right. She can affirm that, yes, the live stream began when she entered the courtroom and fought to get her computer turned on. I want to give these, and she goes, so who do you want to release these documents to? Because they have to get a release, because the documents aren't done. Well, I need to release this to the other court, to the other set of lawyers, because we have an agreement there that we will work together on any information, because he's got 5 suits. And I want to give it to the January 6th committee, who has requested documents of it. The January 6th committee.
Yeah. Well, and again, this is Sandy Hook is years ago, and you'd think it's unrelated, but it's all related. Because this is Because if you back all the way up to Sandy Hook, because it's like, what, 10 years ago? 9? Somewhere in there? You back all the way up to it, this is when we started changing over. Like, hate him all you want to. Alex Jones inadvertently started a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the point where news started going off the rails.
10 years ago, December 4th, 2012. We'll go down in infamy.
Yeah. So, yeah, almost a decade ago. This is when this all started to really go off the rails. This is when we started seeing a lot of misinformation. And started seeing the realities of using that misinformation to polarize an audience to create basically this really toxic, ugly, negative environment in which news stories were being treated not for their actual news value, in which a school shooting occurred, but being treated for their infotainment value, and being used to rile an audience and create effectively almost cult mentality.
Right.
That in which the story became the opinion,
right,
of, in this instance, Alex Jones, and started motivating people to act on that misinformation and do very horrible things.
Right.
And then you flash forward nearly like 8 years, and we're dealing with January 6th.
Right.
Like, this is some of the earlier seeds in which this all started to take off and starts the documentation process, I would think.
Right.
For this is what Fox News does now.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they're doing with this network. This is where this all started. This is the inception point. And it goes, or the conception point. And this is where it all starts to go 1984 on us.
Right.
And we then end up at January 6th believing, or with a group of people, a very large, violent mob group of people,
right,
who believe that, you know, the election was stolen, and that, you know, and being incited by a current sitting president,
right,
to show up in DC to violently resist,
right,
the declaration of the next president. And like, yeah, like, they're inextricably linked. Like,
right.
This is the beginning, that is the end.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there haven't been other things along the way, but this is like really where it all starts to solidify and form, like, this formulaic.
Right.
This plus this equals this.
Right.
You know, this is where like, this is the first path in the journey where we start getting things like Pizzagate, I believe it was. The pizza shop with the child sex ring.
Yeah.
Totally insane claim.
Right.
People believed it and took off with it. Yeah. Is America the most divided it's ever been?
No. No. We've been more divided before.
Yeah, but it's close.
Yeah,
I think it's close.
I think it's close, but we've been more divided before. Pre-Depression, we were very divided in the direction of the country. Pre-Civil War, we were very divided as a country. Currently, I think we're probably the most educated, but also the most divided. But we're also the ones that are very underturned.
I'll even argue that we're the most educated. I think we were probably actually the least educated we have ever been.
All right, the most informed.
Well, we're the most bombarded. Let's go with that.
Right.
We're bombarded with information and opinion and satire, and it's all dressed up to be news media.
Right.
And it takes a lot of very careful reading and very careful, understanding and a lot of nuance, which is what a lot of like Alex Jones, etc. Like, oh, it's just an opinion. It's free speech.
No.
I say whatever I want. And yeesh, that's not true. That's no, like, you have to be very careful
when you're presented as news.
A riot.
Right. When you're presented as news, you have to be very careful. But no, it's interesting just watching how this falls out. And, they got 40, it's mixed reviews. This family has either been awarded $55.2 million in punitive damages. Other places are reporting a little bit higher. Some are reporting a little bit lower. So it'll be interesting
to see how much this is going to cost.
Well, they're at $4 million in cost of defense.
Well, and realistically, it's not even about the money. I don't even think families give a shit about the money. It's just clarifying once and for all.
Right. No, they have not, because according to the review of his company, he's worth $72 million. This is $45 million.
So, and that's if he has to pay it directly.
Yeah. If an insurance company, like a liable insurance company that we're seeing out of the Heard case, doesn't pay it for him.
Right. Because that would have been the worst business decision. Like, he should just, like, and here's the weird part. He effectively falls into that public figure category. So theoretically, he is two different entities. He is Alex Jones the person, and he is Alex Jones the personality. The personality should be who's being sued, even if it is technically Alex Jones on paper, because it's what he's done professionally that has gotten him into hot water. And Alex Jones, the personality, should have a decent business manager should be like, you need some insurance, buddy.
Right.
Like, you need some very careful, strategy towards your incorporation as a business that gets paid for your work on air. And you need to make sure your ass is covered, because if you fuck up, like this situation, you're going to be held liable for this shit.
Exactly.
You could lose everything.
So let's see. We're looking at an estimated company value of 272 minus 45, and there is a cap in Texas on punitive damages. I think it may be $4 to $5 million. So that'll be interesting if they take that out. And then there's one other case. Currently, that's already in a default judgment, and he's trying to get it reversed. It probably will not. So it'll be interesting. Just how, can we get him down below 100 million? Can we make him lose his 100 million status?
Hey, there you go. But yeah, now as for Drunk's question, loving the name. You think Pizzagate was really that far-fetched after the Epstein stuff? I want to say this. I think it is a wild, crazy world, and there's a lot of crazy fucking shit going on that's been covered up, hidden, blah, blah, blah. Does not mean I'm directly in the tinfoil hat club of believing that there's a pizza parlor somewhere in D.C. that, runs a child sex smuggling ring. I think that was, a lot of overreach. Now, can I fully believe that there are millionaires and billionaires in this world who are pedophiles? Yeah. Can I believe that there are a number of very rich people, just as there are very poor people who are also pedophiles? Can I also believe that, this could turn into a friend group thing with the right combination of people? Yep, I can absolutely believe that. Can I believe that being in a very ugly way to phrase this, that, effectively you could potentially as a black market good, sell sex with a minor and turn a handsome profit? Yup, I can fully, wholeheartedly believe that. And I can believe there are people in this world that would do it. Like, I mean, hi, all you have to see is one news article about mom sells daughter for sex. She, like 12-year-old daughter, whatever, like we've all seen at least one of those articles in our lifetime. Usually it's a Child Protective Services got involved, yanked the kid from the house, and this is the horrible nightmare. And mom gets charged. Now, do I think that the more money you have and the more people involved, the longer you can potentially hide this and create like a scenario? Yes, I do. I don't think it's run out of a pizza parlor.
Right.
I think it's run out of a country club.
Yeah.
Like, pizza parlor is a little pedestrian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you order a certain pizza combo and get a 14-year-old. But I think you go to a nice country club and you meet a bunch of people and you find yourself 6 feet deep and suddenly it's eyes wide shut with a daycare.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thoughts.
Right.
So, hi, Cappy.
But, it's also interesting that, some of the things that have gone on over the period of time. Here's an example. So I'm strolling through my news feed, and I see White House has been struck by lightning.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting news feed to see the White House being struck by lightning. So I don't look at the source. I just click the article and go to read it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a problem.
Wasn't quite the White House.
Wasn't quite the White House.
Mm-hmm.
It was Lafayette Square that three people were killed. 4 people were struck by lightning. Mm-hmm. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with DC, Lafayette Square is across the street, and we are very familiar with it because it is where, they sent, armed military gas machines with bullets to remove protesters of Trump. Mm-hmm. So he could take a photo. Yes. That's the location that was actually struck by lightning. Not that much of a news story.
Well, it's still a pretty big news story. Lafayette Park is like a pretty important place.
It is a very important place. But
it's not the White House getting struck by lightning.
So I look and see who posted the story. And then I look at the source of the news story. And it's one of the satire networks. By golly, next thing they'll do is going to have Comedy Central reporting the damn news because it would have more accuracy.
I mean, I'm sorry, somewhere around 2019, 2018, somewhere in there, I think we all got to the point where, it was absolutely ridiculous that the Onion, long respected satire website that has kept us all entertained for decades, well, at least a decade, has been less screwy in their reporting than some of the shit we have seen from major news, than we have seen from other outlets trying to get in on the news cycle. Mm-hmm. That the Onion looked tame.
Right.
High. And it's even worse that sometimes you're just reading articles and you're like, is it from the Onion? Please tell me it's from the Onion. Can this be from the Onion, please?
Yeah.
No, it is not.
Maybe it's TMZ. No, it's not TMZ.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. And this is our Fox News problem. This is our, big issue here. Is Fox News has done everything to convince you you're watching an actual legitimate news program, up to and including some legitimate reporting.
Right.
Occasionally, there's legitimate reporting. Or more importantly, there's degree of truth to the story.
Right.
Just enough to make it an actual news item. And then it's so loaded with opinion.
Right.
Whereas you go to the Onion, you don't expect this to be real.
Right.
You know better. It can be funny as hell.
Right.
It can, it can convey what we all feel.
Right.
Without being misinforming.
Right.
No one reads the Onion and goes, "This is how I should think."
Right.
Like, that's the big deal. That's the big problem. I hate when sites go that ugly.
Well, totally understandable. There are news sources that are not worth it, although there are some that have really done some great changes here.
Mhm.
Okay, and when I do talk about great changes, I'm talking about the Free Britney Spears moment. And, as everyone knows, Britney is still fighting the 12th and 13th accounting to finally get her father out of her affairs.
Mhm.
Clarify this. The 12th year of the accounting is the 12th year of the estate, and the 13th year of the estate have not been settled yet. This is what Britney is paying for. This is what she is not paying for. Has not been decided by the courts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jaded is still fighting it all. Jaded is even filed documents with sealed medical records. Think about this. Do you want your medical records on the front page of USA Today
Mm-hmm.
because your father is fighting you in court so that he can get his $12.6 million of his last paycheck off you?
Effectively, he's abusing the previous authority he had to receive your medical records to, in turn, create an embarrassing public filing that, if you want to fight it,
Mm-hmm.
has to be unsealed.
Right.
Becomes part of public record.
Yes.
I mean, she's in a horrible position, and I think at this point you have to almost treat all of this as this is extortion.
Right. And that's basically what Rosengart has done, is told Weingart, that's extortion, and that's, you're going to, I may even have to report you for bar charges over this at this point. And he said that in open court.
Yeah.
Judge Penny is like, I don't know what to do with this because I've got a formal federal prosecutor that has more experience in all than I do, telling me what I have to do in my court.
Right.
Now,
Well, and then there's the Britney Spears and her lawyer's side of this, in which I think you have to sit here and treat it as hostage negotiation. We do not negotiate with hostage takers.
right.
If that's what he's going to do, you have to be prepared for it.
Right.
And you just roll with it.
Well, I'm quite sure that, Rosengart is prepared for anything that the father has done. They even wanted to fight for her address, her home address, to be put into an affidavit of record, which means it would be public record where Britney Spears lives.
Uh-huh.
Why is it? Because Jaded doesn't have her home address anymore. Britney Spears has moved.
Well, and moreover, it's even more leverage. I'm sure he has gotten her address by now.
Oh, no. I doubt he has.
Oh, I'd say he has. But the bigger deal is it becomes public record.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to get the crazy fans showing up in your driveway, digging through your trash.
Right.
Like, I really think that's what it's about. It has nothing to do with he doesn't have the address. He has the address.
Right.
Like, I'm sure she has a fucking PI on her ass, courtesy of her father, who documents everything she does.
Well, that'll be debatable because she did fire Black Box. She fired when the conservatorship ended and she was given her freedom. She fired everyone down to the gardener.
Right. Right. Well, and I'm sure she did. But what I'm saying is, I think he continued some contracts and is actually paying for something out of his own pocket for once, because I don't think he can drop that level of control that fast.
Right. I think that this will end up in her having to get a restraining order from this man.
Yeah. I'd say she's going to end up with a bunch of them.
Right. a permanent injunction that he can't speak her name,
basically,
and a permanent injunction that, he is not to be within 200 miles of her, is where I would go with it.
Yeah, and then I'd say we're still going to end up seeing one lawsuit after another out of it.
We are.
That's the sad reality.
I heard one expert say that we're looking at 4 to 6 years before this would be settled.
Mm-hmm.
You could have her $60 million, or probably closer to $52 million, back of hers.
Yeah. Well, and then the other question becomes, how long can you fight?
Mm-hmm.
Or how long do you want to fight? How much
Mm-hmm.
are you prepared to deal with in the fight?
Right.
Because he seems to be taking the strategy of a massive corporation.
Well, I
will burn you down.
Well, I think the other part of that is, and I think the more larger part of it is that Brittany, I think if Judge Penny rules that he has to pay his own legal bills, then that's going to change the fight real quick.
I don't know. I see your point. I see what you're thinking. I follow the line.
Because currently, I'm quite sure the lawyers are giving him Britney Spears credit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right? We'll do whatever. We'll fight as long as we have to. We will get paid. This is how he spent over $350,000 in a 3-month period on lawyers.
Right.
But
I think he's secured enough out of her
mm-hmm.
through shell games of corporation names
Mm-hmm.
that I think his war chest may be bigger than hers.
We'll see about that.
I like the one thing you have to give the man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if nothing else,
he's a good thief.
He's a damn good thief. He knows how to play the on paper game,
right,
and move this money around in a way that, like, they're struggling to do a
right.
true and accurate accounting.
Right.
Like, they're struggling.
Right.
To dig through this forensically and figure out what the fuck he did.
Right. Well, and that's just because there's so many accounts. When it was turned over, she turned out to own 22 corporations and shell corporations in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's assuming that's the comprehensive list.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now, he's worked with a really great accountant he's had to.
Right.
Worked with a really good accountant to pull this all off.
Well, he's a former construction worker. I'm sure he knew a mafia accountant. Now, there is something that I am waiting to get. Unfortunately, the supply chain has held up its production.
Okay.
Britney Spears' new memoir, that was a $15 million book deal,
mm-hmm.
is on my reading list.
Yes. So what's happened?
There's a lack of paper.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
There is a lack of paper for them to print the books for them to release it.
God. Seriously?
Yep.
I mean, do we need a bunch of authors to band together and be like, hold our books?
Basically.
We need the Britney Spears memoir.
Right.
Hold off on my cookbook. Just use the paper to print the Britney Spears memoir.
Right. There is a lack of paper, so they will not release it yet. They are not sure when they will be able to release it. It will be interesting. There's also the official Britney Spears coloring book coming out by Aeson Press in November of 2021. So that'll be.
They found paper?
Huh?
They found paper for a coloring book.
For a coloring book.
But can't secure paper for her memoir.
Correct.
Like, come on, guys.
Well, we're looking at 80 pages in length for the coloring book. I would say that her memoir is probably going to be at least 700 to 800 pages alone.
Like, just this drama could fill up 700 to 800 pages.
Right. And
her damn memoir could come out thicker than War and Peace.
Well, if it does, it'll be amazing. I think it'll be amazing anyhow because she's wrote it.
Yeah, it would be a nonstop page turner.
Yes.
Like,
and I just want to say I love her voice, her new voice. It is being reported that she is sung with Elton John. We have heard her sing on Instagram, and it is a nice, deep, smoky voice. Like, bring it on.
Yeah, which she's probably had for quite a while now, and they've just auto-tuned the fuck out of her
Exactly.
to keep that pop sound.
Right. Now, I would love to hear her go back and redo her old music because she'll have to do that to get her masters, much like we saw Katy Perry do.
Oh, the remastering? Yeah, possibly.
But
I don't know. She should have
I would love to hear Toxic in that deep, smoky voice.
Ooh. Re-release of Toxic could be nice.
Yeah.
Especially on the heels of this, like, hi.
And I Was a Slave for You. I think I Was a Slave for You too.
Yes. Yes, those two. That should be the Britney, like the start of the Britney comeback album.
Mm-hmm.
Is a re-release of those in a different key.
Mm-hmm.
As the, like, courtesy of the White Witch. Oh, come on.
Of who?
Landslide Bring You Down.
Oh, yeah. That would be
like
awesome.
like courtesy of that style of middle finger music.
Yeah.
Fuck you and the horse you rode in on.
Yeah, Stevie Nicks, honey.
Thank you. I couldn't get there.
Oh my goddess.
You couldn't either. I said the White Witch and you just stared at me.
I had to think for a moment, which one? Are you talking Cher? Are you, who are we talking about? All right. In other news, I think the Fed's a bit damn confused. I think they're scratching their heads going, what the fuck?
What? Oh, there we go. So big U.S. jobs gains give feds a lot more work to do on taming inflation. Oh, the Federal Reserve will face more urgency in its fight to cool down the U.S. economy with steep interest rate increases after the latest batch of labor market data showed an unexpected acceleration in jobs gains and strong wage growth. The figures released on Friday eased concerns that the American economy was sharply slowing down or already in recession after 2 consecutive quarters of contraction in output this year. However, it will increase worries that high inflation may become entrenched as wages keep rising, requiring even more intervention by the central bank. The Fed has already moved its main interest rate up from the rock bottom levels of the coronavirus pandemic to a target range of 2.25% to 2.5% this year, including 2 consecutive 0.75 percentage point increases in June and July.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how is it? Like, someone explain this to me. Like, why are we trying to stop the correction? Like, I mean, I get it that companies are fucking up and using this as an opportunity to increase prices.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody wants to work anymore, quote unquote, unquote. But, like, the problem isn't wages.
Mm-hmm.
We want wages to go up. Wages have been stagnant for 40 fucking years.
Well, here's interesting, and it's a very interesting thing. I was listening the other day, someone posted it, and I just thought it was fucking amazing to listen to. It was candidate Ronald Reagan debating President Carter. And the inflation rate was 18%.
Mm-hmm.
They were throwing a fit over it being 18% inflation rate.
Right.
This is in 1979.
Mm-hmm.
Current inflation rate in the United States at this moment is at 7.5. It hit its highest record of 9.1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in 2021.
Right.
Okay. Someone help me understand this math.
Yeah.
We're screaming at 9.1%. We're screaming, the sky is falling, the world is falling down, everything is destroying itself. But America in 1947 saw an inflation rate of 18.8%, all the way up to 20%, 1947. And it remained fairly high into the late 50s. 1959, it went to 1.4%. It continued this trajectory. In 75, it shot up again. And then in 1980, its highest inflation was at 19.2%.
Yeah.
How is inflation high?
This comes in partially with the adjustment that employment has taken to the idea that workers shouldn't be paid. Effectively, that's where most of your corporations are. That's where most of your business owners are.
I get
that you should not have to pay wages. You should not have to pay people hardly anything. They should literally want to work for free. That's the argument that's fundamentally been made. Because if you're sitting there paying effectively slave wages, minimum wage, because quite frankly, no one can get to work on minimum wage, especially not now. Especially not now. If you effectively barely cover someone's minimum basic living expenses, I'm not talking avocado toast. I am not talking like one brand name anything. I am talking Walmart the whole way, dollar store the whole way. This is where you buy the very bare essentials you need to survive. And you are barely paying your bills. You're paying them, but barely. That's it. No frills, no vacations, nothing.
Right.
Those are slave wages.
Yeah.
You were working for free.
Yeah.
You are not bettering your situation in life. You are not saving for the future. You are not creating any kind of paycheck to paycheck safety net.
Right.
Like you are living in that line of you are one $400 or more expense away from abject poverty.
Right.
$400 will completely ruin your life.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm trying to debate here. Is everyone has been talking this high inflation rate. Technically, this isn't even a high inflation rate. This is mediocre.
Yeah.
Do you imagine if we were at 20% inflation rate?
Oh, it would be insane. Like investors would be calling for heads on spikes. Because this all fundamentally flows back to the business and maximizing investor dividend.
Right.
And maximizing profit.
Right.
Like you effectively what's happening is we're seeing the increase in wages come out of profits.
Right.
Record obscene profits. This is companies ready to take their ball and go home. Because, oh my God, we had to pay people to work here.
Yeah.
To make obscene profits. We had to pay people.
Right.
This isn't real inflation. Like, it is inflation. It's real. It's occurring. But it's not actually tied to, like, the price of labor is finally, after years, decades of stagnation, but what I was talking about was years we've been living under, at least a decade, of one person doing the job of four people at a stagnant pay rate. There's no money for raises. We've had the most profitable year in our company ever. Thank you so much. We're not giving anyone a raise. We're not hiring more people. This has been the corporate environment for at least 10 years, if not 20.
Mm-hmm.
10 years, it's like the gold standard. 20 years is like roughly the rough beginning of it.
Right.
When we started uttering these lines and tying people to jobs in total misery
Mm-hmm.
at the lowest possible rate we could, refusing them any time off, like in the US at least, refusing them any time off, treating them like absolute pure garbage, and doing so at a point in which we effectively want employees to pay for the privilege of working there.
Right.
Or we're looking at college students to work for free as an internship to actually not just learn from a business, which is what an internship is to get master level knowledge of on an inside track of a business, but to just sit there and do the work instead of hiring real employees.
Right.
And paying them and giving them benefits and doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the world's fed up with it. We can't afford it.
Right.
This is what we've been trying to as a working class, say to businesses for a good couple of decades now.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot afford to volunteer.
Right.
I have bills I'm expected to pay. I have a lifestyle that I would like to minimally achieve.
Right.
Maybe it involves a little avocado on my toast.
Right.
Maybe it's a once a week trip to Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a life goal. It's a lifestyle. It's a thing. So yeah, in reactionary, companies are blowing up their prices.
Right.
And then blaming these employees that they have taken full advantage of.
Right.
As being the source of the problem.
Right.
Nobody wants to work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Big surprising news. No one ever wanted to work. Have you ever wanted to work?
Yeah.
Ever in your life?
Sorry, I'm one of the weird ones. You see me.
No. When I say that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean follow your passion and do a thing you love and enjoy doing. I mean work as it currently exists. Sit in a fucking cubicle farm.
Mm-hmm.
Day in, day out, treated like garbage, always on the verge of electricity being disconnected, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And knowing that you are trapped in this till you either die or qualify for retirement.
Right.
I don't think anyone has ever wanted to do that.
Exactly.
No one voluntarily does
with that. But, here's my thing, and this is the thing that pissed me off. When I discovered this little nugget of information that the American brain can't store in its head.
Okay.
I went and got the table, and then I used the power of Excel. It's so hard as an economist to use Excel. Average inflation is 3.23% from 1914 to the last month's reporting.
Per year, correct?
Per month, per year.
Per month. Okay, per month.
So, how is this historically high? We are at 7%. 7% doesn't even hit the Richter scale. Like if this was an earthquake, the pictures in San Francisco would not have even moved, much less Grandma's China.
Yeah, and that would be the epicenter.
Yeah.
In the epicenter, you would barely move a photo.
Right. So we have the Fed going, oh my God, people are getting jobs. They're going to be able to get loans. They're going to be able to do shit. They're having to pay more for things. What are we going to do? Let's raise inflation. Inflation's high. No, it's not. Inflation's high. No, it's not. What is high is low return upon investment. Meaning that the loans they have wrote versus what the product is worth now is more expensive. And we've talked about this on the show. I paid almost like $17,000 for this house. This house is now currently worth $75,000. 78, 75, depending on the day and who's
whatever it's worth. It's massively increased in value.
If the bank had wrote me a loan for this house, they'd be going, holy fuck, we're losing our money here.
Huh?
So they
Well,
pay stupid economists to go, oh, it's historical high interest rate, inflation.
yeah. Well, and then like the goal of raising interest, like the reason that they raise and lower interest, and this was a fun part to like. I won't say everything I ever learned in college was great and wonderful and so totally useful, but understanding the market controls and the inflation controls, really cool science.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do with the little slider on the federal interest rate
Mm-hmm.
is you're trying to either lower it and encourage spending, or
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to raise it and encourage savings.
Right.
That's what you're doing. Or you hold it steady
Right.
and people do what they're doing.
Right.
Effectively, what this is meant to do, because average American, they don't care what the fucking federal
Right.
interest rate is. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't change their behavior. They're hand to mouth as it is.
Right.
Like maybe they get a extra $5 in somewhere and they go spend it. And
Right.
it's like it's not changing the universe. Even if millions of people do it, it's a little increased spending. It doesn't change anything, really. But when you have millions of dollars, when you are a corporate entity,
Mm-hmm.
moving large amounts of money around
Mm-hmm.
and making decisions about those large amounts of money, those little tiny changes
Right.
can massively affect whether a business decides to spend their money
Right.
or save their money.
Right.
Do they employ more people and pay higher wages and expand their business and buy more equipment and improve their equipment and services and offerings? Or do they let that money set
Right.
and gain interest?
Right.
And that's it. That's where all their profits go, is into a bank account to gain more money.
Right.
Which one do you do?
Right.
What the Federal Reserve is currently doing is encouraging businesses,
Right.
encouraging multimillionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Put your money in the bank and leave it.
Right.
Just leave it. Just let it set and
Mm-hmm.
grow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spend, don't hire, don't build.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Right. And what they're saying is the millionaires are looking and go, are you stupid? If I don't move now, we're going to lose money. Like, everything's going up. We need to do this. So what's interesting is also at the same time, remember the tax child credit checks, the kid check?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're currently in debate as part of the Democratic economic package to being a permanent thing. That the U.S.
No. Well, there's the child tax credit, but then there's also the one they introduced during the pandemic that is basically a subsidy for having children.
Exactly. They're looking at permanentizing that.
Oh, it's one step closer to minimum basic income. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Like, can we talk about this? Like, everyone calls you a socialist when you start talking about fucking minimum basic income.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, though,
Mm-hmm.
makes the employment marketplace a whole lot easier.
Right.
A whole lot better for employees, one. Picture this. If you go to a cube every single day, I want you to close your eyes right now if you're not driving a vehicle. If you are driving a vehicle, wait till you are not driving a vehicle, okay? But close your eyes and imagine that cube farm you begrudgingly go to every single day that you fucking hate. There's fucking Nancy, the crazy bitch who drives you fucking nuts. Your boss who is always screaming at you, and you live in constant, eternal fear
Mm-hmm.
that you are one more thing away from telling your boss and Nancy to go fuck themselves. But you don't do that because you need to eat. And without this job and getting fired from this job will not help you
Right.
to eat.
Right.
All right. Now I want you to imagine what it would be like if you could tell Nancy and your boss to go fuck themselves, and you will be okay
Mm-hmm.
because you receive a minimum basic income.
Mm-hmm.
You choose where you work or don't,
Right.
just like, you get told you should do.
Right.
You have the choice. You can work somewhere else. And you don't need this job to survive.
Right.
You choose to do this job because you like what you do.
Right.
You have been persuaded by an employer that the environment that you work in
Right.
is going to be a great one, and they're responsible for providing that. Otherwise, they have a problem keeping people.
Right.
And so they want to keep you happy and working.
Right.
Because you could just be at home.
Mm-hmm.
How much better do you think, and how quickly do you think that workplace would improve
Mm-hmm.
drastically?
Right.
I'm not talking foosball tables and beer in a fucking vending machine and, all that shit that we got told back in the early 2000s is what people wanted in a work campus.
Right.
Fuck that. I am talking about actual respect, dignity, and understanding of basic human abilities, function, needs, wants, and desires.
Right.
That's it. That's it.
Right.
Being played out in a workplace where when you go to work
Mm-hmm.
and you don't feel well, you look at your employer, and maybe before you even come in that day,
Right.
you call them
Mm-hmm.
and you say, "Hi, I'm sick."
Right.
And then your employer says, "Oh my God, I hope you feel better soon. I look forward to seeing you back in the workplace. Thanks.
Right.
Feel better." Not, "If you don't come in, I'm going to fire you."
Right.
I think we would have an entirely different workplace. We would have an entirely different level of customer service.
Right.
I think we would have an entirely different world.
Yes. And this is seen in other countries. Other countries already do this. Other countries already provide this. Finland, they have unified income.
Mm-hmm.
Every month you get a stipend from the government for living in Finland.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You pay your bills. You live. You exist. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
No.
You live. You exist. Your basic needs are covered.
Right.
Then you go to work. You get taxed horrendously on it.
Yeah.
It gets taxed horrendously. Like, oh
Right.
my God, what is it? Like 30, 40, 50%? Like, it's insane.
Well,
Like, I mean, like, literally every dime you get paid, you get taxed heavily on.
Finland's average tax rate, and this is average, is 30.8%.
Yeah. But so, like, fundamentally, you get taxed heavily.
Right.
Every dollar, every penny you make gets taxed heavily. But you have a secured basic minimum income, whether you work or not, wherever you work.
Right.
And then you get paid above and beyond that.
Right. Now, comparatively, they keep 69% of their income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
69% of their income does not get taxed.
And you don't have to pump out a child to do it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. I'm not saying that people are necessarily out here just having kids for daddy's little tax deduction.
Right.
But we have definitely encouraged some family planning decisions with that shit.
Right.
I think some people fucked up and didn't know how expensive children were, but
something interesting they do there also, and I just noticed this because, yes, I pulled it up to look and give you actual facts.
Mm-hmm.
They have a
Kathy
church
will
tax.
get to you in a minute. I think that's Kathy.
They have a church tax. The church tax is taxed between 1 and 2.10%, depending on the parish's censuration.
Oh, where it's centered at?
Yeah.
So if it's in a metro or it's in a rural area, it gets taxed at different rates. Cool.
Yeah. They also tax foreign gamers. They also tax local income tax. They tax public broadcasting tax.
Well, I think we do the broadcasting tax, don't we?
We do the broadcasting tax, but we don't tax churches in this country.
No. Like, and the whole theory on that was that, you know, you didn't want to take donated money away from an organization that is intending to use that money to do good things.
Right.
But then it started buying fucking jets.
Yes.
Because the good works, like, required leather-wrapped seats and the ability to fly.
Right.
To get places.
Well, let's take our favorite, you know, mega church. Where is he? You know, the one that locked his doors during flooding.
Oh, in Texas, that is Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, our favorite jetting pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's my thing. If you feel like God told you to get on a Learjet and fly somewhere, I'm gonna tell you right now, you are wrong.
Right.
Okay. You are wrong.
Joel Osteen, who is known to preach politically from his pulpit, he has turned his back on his local community when it was flooded. He is worth a net worth of $100 million. So each year he would be taxed $100,000 for his one mega.
No. Oh no! Whatever would he do? Even if he were taxed $1 million. Wait, at $100 million, he would be taxed $1 million a year.
Yeah, $1 million a year.
Yeah.
How many people can that actually feed in a year? Let's do some math.
Tons. But here's the problem. It's all sitting here. It's his net worth, people.
Yeah.
Net worth. He's at $100 million in just adding to his net worth.
Right.
What do you like? You don't add $100 million to your net worth and do anything good with it. That's the whole point.
Right.
This is money. You don't spend it. That's how you become this, or you spend it on property.
Mm-hmm.
You spend it to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
You do not spend it in service.
Right.
You don't spend it on housing the homeless.
Yeah.
You don't spend it on feeding the homeless. You don't spend it on, you know, going to war-torn countries and delivering food. Mm-hmm. You don't spend it. You don't you spend it on investments.
Right.
You spend it on property. You spend it on jets. You spend it on second and third and 24th homes.
Right.
You spend it on yachts.
Yeah.
Yeah, walking was good enough for Jesus, so it's good enough for you, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
But in comparison, your average pastor, your average church in Royal Bumfuck, West Virginia, has an annual budget of $36,000. So he would pay $3,600 in taxes.
Not even $360.
Yeah.
That would be your taxation of a church in Bumfuck, West Virginia.
Right.
If that's their entire net revenue. Right. They would be taxed $360.
Yeah.
And I would feel bad about that one.
That one,
that's a church. That's a church that deserves to keep its money. Like, exclude that. If that church generates less than $1 million a year, like, this would be my version. If we're going to tax churches, if the church makes less than $1 million a year, don't touch it.
No, well, I think we should apply it to equally at $500,000.
Okay, there we go. I could get there. But I'm like, and even then, at $500,000, that's $5,000.
Yeah.
That's it. That's your 1%.
Right.
Like, it is not the end of the world.
Right. And it's like right now in the Democratic economic package is taxing corporations 15%. 15% minimum.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about that.
No.
I pay 38%.
Yeah.
Why? Because, you know, we run our businesses. We own our businesses. They are considered independent income. They are not looked at as, I have a company that runs and pays me, and then they pay their corporate taxes, then I pay my taxes. That's more than an accountant needs with vodka. Bad enough
And
now.
unfortunately, we don't have quite enough income to pay the really good accountants.
Yeah.
Like, because really good accountants make a shit ton more than we do. And they cost more per hour than both of us combined for a few years do.
Yes.
But this is how you protect major wealth.
Right.
Is through accountants that will pull enough stunts that the IRS can't keep up.
Right.
That's what you pay for with a high dollar accountant, is to hold your money.
No, you pay them to hide your money.
Well, fundamentally.
That's what you do with them. Now, we are going to cover this really quickly, and then we are going to do an Are You the Asshole, and then we have to wrap up. Sorry, guys, It's on our normal shift. So, but have you guys seen all this weather? We have houses being burnt down in Britain, cars and everything being destroyed from the hottest day of the year. Kentucky is, do y'all need an ark?
No.
Are you sure? Like, they're already flooded out, and the last I checked, they were cresting around 53 foot of water.
Oh my God.
With a total death toll of 37 across 5 counties. Now, this is down the Big Tug. The Big Tug runs into the Ohio, which runs into the Mississippi. So this could be echoing. This is the, flood here, flood here, flood here, flood here. With more rain to come. Kentucky, I understand you're in our thoughts. I hope you get a lot of bright sunny days and a lot of dry weather.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what's your thoughts on this? Is this global warming in action?
Essentially, yes. I think our weather is totally screwed.
Yeah.
Now, some of it's going to be cyclical, and I do know that. The severity is what you have to look at.
Right.
Like, all weather is cyclical and goes in like decade and 50-year and 25-year and 100-year and even 1,000-year or more cycles.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
That's very true.
Right.
We will warm and cool naturally.
Right.
To an extent.
Right.
What we're fundamentally doing is we're accelerating it.
Yeah.
Like, we have meth head weather.
Yeah.
Like, this is our weather on meth.
Yes.
Like, that's where we're at. Our weather is on amphetamines. It is on speed.
Yeah, but can you imagine being sitting in your house on a very warm day, you don't have air conditioning, and you smell something burning, and it's your house melting and catching fire? So you run out of the house and you look over, and your car's on fire.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. How did that happen?
It was too hot. You know how you get on me about, I leave the windows in the summer, I still leave the windows cracked, even though they say it's unnecessary. I have a bill from a Lincoln Continental's windshield that proves it wrong, that yes, it is necessary. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, fundamentally, like, these are things you understand if you live in Florida. Like, right. This is normal. Like, seriously, in Florida, you have to leave your windows cracked. If you are in South Carolina, you have to leave your windows cracked. North Carolina is right about the line where it's like, it's not required, but it's going to be hot as fuck.
Right.
Like, it is going to be hot as fuck.
Right.
But you're not likely to blow out a windshield in North Carolina. Florida, that's a thing. That is a legitimate thing. You can create enough heat inside a vehicle to explode your windows.
Right.
You have to leave your windows cracked.
Right.
Or you have to get very good tenting.
Right.
To help reduce that heat flow.
Right. Well, these houses were well insulated. These houses were built for cold weather. And they were 100, and the temperatures were above 104 degrees Fahrenheit. They don't know exactly how high above 104 because they can't, their thermometer don't go that high.
Well, like things you don't have to consider in certain parts of the country.
Right.
Moreover, like insulation's not a bad thing. Like everyone thinks that the colder temp you're in, the more insulation you need. That's not exactly 100%. Like if you like technically you can survive winter in a poorly insulated house in the South as long as you have an air conditioner from hell.
Right.
But the insulation helps.
Right.
Insulation blocks temperature or maintains internal temperature and prevents heat exchange.
Right.
So one, you're not losing heat to the outside, but you also block it from gaining on the inside.
Right.
So you can hold that 70 degrees. Now it's less important as long as you have the super powerful air conditioner in the South to have that high insulation. But we saw what happened in Texas this past winter. When you have a poorly insulated house and you have a sudden severe drop in temperature that is unseasonable and abnormal for your area, you start seeing people with frozen water lines, freezing to death in their homes, because you don't plan for really good heating in the South.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a super duper heater.
Right.
You get up to like West Virginia, even parts of North Carolina, but definitely by Virginia.
Right.
You have to balance the two now. Once
Right.
upon a time, West Virginia and more northern, we didn't even bother with air conditioning. Like our houses were not centrally heated and cooled, or not centrally cooled. Now it's almost become a requirement. Like it is non-functional.
Right.
To be in a house in West Virginia, this thing that like used to be totally normal.
Right.
It is becoming more and more unbearable.
Right.
That, you know, as we are, you know, yeah, we used to have a few days here and there that were, you know, over 90.
Right.
Now we deal, and like, I'm from Mercer County. Little tiny Bluefield, West Virginia has lemonade days, I think is what it was called. They finally stopped.
Right.
Because like this cute, fun little thing that they did in the city is anytime the temperature is over 90 degrees, we give out free lemonade. It's cute, it's fun, it's whatever. There were so many days over 90, it was no longer a thing they could afford to do.
Right.
Like, how, like, that's your global warming. Hi, right there. This, like, again, I think some of it is cyclical. It will come and go. Right. But I think on top of this, we are accelerating it, and we are changing what the weather patterns look like. We are also moving temperature bands more, like your heat is moving more north, and your equator line and just above it is getting hotter than it has ever fucking been.
Right.
Like, that's where I'm at.
Right.
All right, so really quickly, I think we got to throw out an Am I the Asshole?
Yes.
In a relationship advice.
Well, all right. Relationship tonight. We just want to do asshole.
Oh, okay. All right, and then do you want to go ahead and get Kathy while we're at it?
Yep, let's grab Kathy.
All right, so Kathy, 72862. Is my mom or my ex Steven going to pay to get the Cadillac and my furniture from Texas to Minnesota? And when will this occur? If yes is the answer.
Well, let's take a look and see. I feel like it happens within 2 months, basically 7 to 8 weeks. And yes, I do feel that one of them pays to have it done and brought up to you. Okay?
Okay. And I love the one that you sent me, but I did find one, and we're gonna take a roll on it.
All right, we'll take both of them if we can.
Okay. All right. Am I the asshole for telling my sister that her being just a girlfriend and not an actual wife are actually not the same thing? My sister has been dating this guy, Josh, for around 7 years now with seemingly no intent to get married. My sister is one of those people who believes marriage is a scam and doesn't desire it at all, and is fine with being just a girlfriend with her boyfriend. Multiple times, me and my parents have tried explaining to her how getting married is not just about wearing a wedding dress and all that. There are legal advantages and perks that she won't be able to have if she's unmarried. She said there are solutions to that, and marriage is not a wish for neither her nor Josh. We are deeply conservative and religious and take marriage seriously. So when I had my wedding a few months ago, I didn't invite Josh because he's not officially tied to my sister.
Right.
I told her she can have her views on marriage and I can have mine. And if she wants me to respect her decisions and views, she has to respect mine too. And I'm uncomfortable with inviting couples who are neither engaged nor married to my wedding. She held it against us for all these months, only attended the ceremony and stayed at the reception for half an hour at most, and then left. She was basically absent from my wedding. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, she got into an accident and was hospitalized for a few days. The hospital had a strict close relatives only policy, and basically only my parents could visit my sister, as well as first degree relatives. Josh couldn't see her and was mad they wouldn't allow him. She was out of the hospital soon after with no serious injuries. But I used what happened as an opportunity to teach my sister why her being a little girlfriend is way different to being a wife. And if her and Josh were actually married, he wouldn't have to miss out on visiting her in the hospital. So his lack of visitation is their fault. My sister now believes I'm the asshole for using her accident to teach her a lesson. But I don't believe I am, since maybe this could be a wake-up call for the both of them.
Well,
yeah,
it was a wake-up call for the both of them to get legal paperwork put into place.
Yeah.
Point blank. Sorry, I swear I gotta start teaching straight people the same way I teach gay people. You need these papers the moment your relationship reaches the point of living together.
Yep. Hi, you need to become a medical power of attorney quickly.
And a medical durable financial power of attorney.
Yep. Financial power of attorney, medical power of attorney. Those are the documents she was talking about. There were being solutions to the situation. And there are. It sounds like that her and Josh had not yet availed themselves of them.
Right.
And you need to do this shit quickly.
Yes.
Because
happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, the sister is the asshole. Furthermore, don't want anybody that's not engaged or married at your wedding. Well, gee, you sound like you are a real fun time to be around.
Oh yeah. Well, super conservative religious, like, hi, you're basically having, tea and cookie with the hateful bitches at the church.
No, thank you.
Really? Does anyone want to spend their eternity with this shit?
No.
Like, why? Why would you want to go to heaven? Have you seen the people they're admitting? It's a shit show.
Right. So, yes, you are an asshole. You should not be invited to family events. And you should be forced to apologize on your knees to your sister and offer to pay the legal fees for the documents to be prepared. Because you're the asshole.
Well, no, the OP's not the asshole, but no, I guess the OP is, because the OP told on herself for being the shitty sister. Shit. Yeah. Okay, like, wow. All right, do we have time for the last one?
You have time for the last one. That's a kind of a blend. It is a relationship one, and it is an asshole one.
Awesome. Am I the asshole for freezing dinners? I, female 19, got married to my husband, male 29, a little over 3 months ago. At the time, I had just finished my spring semester of classes, and I didn't really have anything to be doing over the summer other than taking 2 college classes. He works full-time, and I was home all day since my classes were online. I cooked dinner every night and usually usually easy breakfast lunches for us, and kept the home really clean. I knew my schedule was going to be super busy once I started fall classes / academic research / applying to internships. So I decided to freeze some of my homemade dinners to have quick meals for us. Now that I've started the semester at the beginning of August, I've been making fresh homemade meals maybe twice per week, and doing my prepped frozen meals the rest. I love this girl. She was doing awesome for 19. My husband has complained about me slacking and told me that I have more than enough time to be cooking. I'm home most days by 3:30 to 4 p.m., but I've usually started my day of studying at 5 a.m. I just don't feel like spending an hour cooking when I'm adjusting to an even heavier load than what I'm used to. Am I the asshole? Girl, you are not the asshole. Get the fuck out.
He's also complaining that the house isn't being kept. So this husband is telling his new wife that she's a failure.
Not only that, but like, I mean, what rock did you find this dude under?
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, I guess unmarried at 29 should have been my first clue. Boy, who was going to have issues. But,
right.
Like, really? Like,
right.
You're doing a lot. He sounds like he's doing nothing, and then he's bitching about everything.
Right.
Because he has this idea that he was getting a housewife.
Right.
Instead of a professional, intelligent, working woman.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, you either got to fix this or get the fuck away from this.
Yep.
Because this will tear you down, demoralize you, and make you feel like garbage for doing what makes absolute sense.
Right.
Like, you are awesome and amazing. I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors.
Right.
Like, I hope this fall is absolutely awesome to you, whether you have a husband or not.
Yeah. But he is helping around the house. He does car maintenance, lawn care, and pays the bills.
Oh, that's so cute. Does he also get up at 5 a.m.?
Probably.
Is he also having to study outside or do things outside of work?
No, he's got his college degree and he has a great paying job. So here's my point. The husband is the asshole.
Yes.
A husband that complains about a dinner on the table needs his ass whipped.
Oh, yeah. No, never. Never, ever, ever. Like, the quick solution for that is you don't cook.
Yeah.
You don't cook, you don't clean.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do any of it.
Right.
You eat out.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets used to wearing an apron.
Yep.
Because you're in school and you're working your ass off.
Yeah.
And you deserve it.
Yeah. And,
like,
Devin says, wait till they have kids. She's purposely putting children off until she completes her college degree.
Awesome. Let's hope he doesn't sabotage birth control. That's a legitimate concern. Like, if he's pulled this card, you wait until you find out that, like, her birth control got fucked with, or those condoms are holy.
Yes. My point blank is to hurry up and get him adjusted real quick to you having a working life and you developing a system. It just took me 5 years to get a system in this house. And that's after just getting one husband.
I know, right? So, all right, let's get you out of here because you have an appointment and I am turning on the thank you. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Ashley Guest, Shannon C, Shannon D, the ever wonderful Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Dottie the Psychic, Tracy Van, Donna White, and the Laughing Tree Grove. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yep. And good night, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow for Psychic That Plans.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no flight time, grind time, take it to the street time. Tear the roof off, get loco. Game time, win time, we gon' bring it home time. No regrets now,